Hope you're doing really well. This is Katie, and today we are going to study a new topic that is nothing but user input. So, till now, what we have done, we have actually just provided the value in the Python program itself. Like, if I have to print my own name, then I have printed my name. If I have to print a particular number that is 10, 11, or 12, then I have printed that particular number. So, till now, we have done this. So, but from now on, we are going to find out that how we can take the data from the user, how we can use that data for some stuff, for some calculations, and how we can proceed further using the input functions, right? So we can prompt the user to input the data using the input function. So basically, there is a function in Python that is nothing but input function, and this input function allows us to enter the data from the user, and the user will give me the data. Like for example, I am going to print it that what is your name. So the user will give me his or her name, right? And then I can do some other stuff with that name, right? So basically, I don't have to provide my name itself as I've done in the previous lectures. But from now on, we'll basically just take the data from the user and then we'll continue further. So input function always returns a string. That's this point to be noted that this input function always returns us a string. Basically, it doesn't return any integer nor a floating point number. As we have earlier said that if we are going to divide our numbers in Python language, that will only give us the answer in float, right? But if I am talking about the input function, so this input function will always give us a string, right? So hashtag is used for the comments as well over here. See what I'm going to show you now. We have a name over here and we have basically a particular function that is the input function. And this input function is basically going to input the data from the user, that is what is your name. So what is your name is the I have input and the user will print that is Kirti. And now it will print welcome name, that's welcome Kirti, right? So you have got to understand that how the user is going to enter the data in the Python language, right? Moving on to the next slide, we have to show that if I have a particular integer type data, and now because we know that the input function always gives us a string, so are we able to convert our integer type data to a string, right? So because I have only used the input function, right? So user input conversion is also there, like we have studied previously about the type conversion. We are now going to study about the user input conversions. By default, the user input function always gives us a string that we already know. So to read a number from the user, we must first convert it into integer using the type conversion function. Type conversion function, we have already started that we can actually change the string data type to an integer type using the int function, right? So we can actually convert that string into integer type. So whenever we have to read a number from the user, how we can convert it? We can actually convert it into integer using the type conversion function, right? So basically what I'm going to show you right now, we have converted 0 to 1, right? When I have converted 0 to 1, so what we have done is we have actually input inp, that is a variable, and that is equal to input enter 0. So I have entered 0 and the user will basically be entered the data that is 0. And now that 0 data, because input function is always going to return me a string, so that 0 data is now going to be converted into an integer part. So when it is going to convert it into integer type, so int input, that will give us an integer type of 0. And now plus 1, when we add plus 1 to it, it will give us 0 plus 1, that is equal to 1. So now the next line I am printing the converted value comma out, that is equal to converted value, that is 1, because out is basically a variable which is storing the value 1. So converted value 1, that would be the answer. So don't worry, I'm going to show you through the process of Atom. And now we are going to create a new file by Control plus N, Control plus S, just because we have to save this file right now. And in this C drive, I have a particular Python folder in which I am going to save my file, that is user input.py, right? Now, this is my file. And now what I have done is I have a name, and that name is equal to input, that is enter your name. I have basically asked the user, that is enter your name, right? Now user will input his name, so I will have to print welcome comma name, right? Let us see that what it actually prints over here. I have my command prompt over here, and now we'll basically first change its directory, and then it will give us user input dot py. So enter your name. Let's suppose I have a name Kirti, and that is printing us welcome Kirti, right? And add, you can similarly add your name as well. Now I have to convert a particular value to an integer type, which is a string, right? So what I am going to show you now, then let's suppose that I have a particular value that is test, and test is equal to input, that is enter any number, right? So the user is going to enter any type of number in the variable test, right? So now what we are going to show, we are going to show you that how we can add a particular number to the test. So first we have to convert the particular string value to an integer part, plus I have added 1 to that number. Now what it is going to do, it is basically converting the number to the integer type, because input function is providing us the string type. So we have to convert it into integer type so as to get added to an integer, right? Now it will get stored in the variable that is added. So next it will print value that is add. Now I have saved it file, and now run from the command prompt, that is user input, that is enter any number. Let's suppose the user have entered 5. So the answer is giving me the 6. So is it correct right now? Because I have entered the 6, 5. Now 5 is basically the string, and string is converted using the integer type, that is converted to int type, and now it has given the answer that is 6. Okay. So bye bye guys. Take care. See you in the next.